Okay, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I hope to find you well today. So today we are going to disclose relationship between meaning and cognitive. So as you know before that we have talked about what is meaning, we have talked about what is semantic and pragmatic, the differences between semantic and pragmatic, and then the core values of meaning. So today our material we have the relationship between meaning and cognitive. So what is meaning that we have talked last week, and then what is cognitive? So we are this the our focus today. Okay, first of all, let me check the cognitive semantic. So the cognitive semantic is part of the cognitive linguistics movement. And then semantic is the study of linguistic meaning itself. So we have talked much about meaning, right? And then now we are going to talk about the cognitive in semantic. So the cognitive semantic hope that the language is part of more general human cognitive ability and can therefore only describe the world as a people conceive of it. So this is the cognitive semantic. And then the cognitive semantic implicit that different linguistic communities concept of the simple thing and processes in the words differently. It means that different culture. So we will find out that when the cognitive semantic, it is a different when different culture. So the process also to see the world will be different when we find with someone that have a different culture. For example, we are Sasak people. Of course, we have a core values how to see the world, the values to see the world, our perspective to say something. And then when we find friends from other Sasak people, they have also a different viewpoint to say a word, to say something. So it is a different culture. So the process of cognitive is, we can say that it is a different culture process. So not necessarily some different between person, conceptual word, and the real words or wrong beliefs. And then let me see here the essential meaning of meaning. So this is the essential meaning of meaning. First is, what is meaning? The meaning is the idea that is represented by words, phrase, etc. What is the phrase exact meaning of this word in English? Many would have developed more than one meaning. So this the meaning is the idea that represented by words. So this is the meaning. So the meaning can be related to the words as a representative of the meaning. And then the second one is the idea that person want to express by using words. This is the meaning. So the meaning. So the idea that person want to express by using words. And then the idea that expressed in words of writings, art, and etc. So this is the meaning of the meaning. So first is the idea that represented by word. And then the second one, the idea of the person want to express by using words. And then the idea that expressed in words of writing or art, and etc. and so forth. It means and so forth. So this is the meaning of the meaning. So the meaning is the idea that want to express something with the word. If you want to say something with the word, if you want to say something with the word, and then to express something using the word, that is the meaning. So the meaning is the idea that representative of word, the idea of person expressed by using words. So this is the cognitive, everybody. Let me see what is the cognitive itself. The cognitive based on the lexical meaning is the relating to being or involving conscious intellectual activity. So related to being involving conscious intellectual activity, such thinking, listening, or remembering, cognitive environment. So this is the cognitive. So the cognitive is the, we can check in here, the cognitive is the conscious intellectual activity. So what does it mean, conscious intellectual activity? That in cognitive, every single outward, every single perspective, every single utterance that we want to express as an idea should be processed in our brain. So the brain, they have a conscious intellectual activity. So we are thinking, reasoning, and remembering. This is the cognitive way. And then the second definition of cognitive based on the lexical meaning is capable of being reduced to empirical factual knowledge. So cognitive will select which one the brain want to choose. For example, we will select, is it correct? Is it good, wrong, or right? So the cognitive will process. The cognitive will produce the action in our activity. So the cognitive semantic is the meaning conceptual structure in cognitive system. Okay, this meaning is a conceptual structure in cognitive system. So meanings mean just now that the refers to the idea, the representative word, or the idea that expressed using word, or the idea that expressed art using word. So meaning here is conceptual structure in cognitive system. What is cognitive system? We just have talked just now that cognitive system is involving conscious intellectual activity. This is the cognitive. So they are produce the thinking, they produce the reasoning, they produce the remembering. So let me see here. So the semantic elements are constructed from geometrical or topological structure, not symbol that can be composed according to some of rules. Okay, this is the cognitive semantic, and then the cognitive model are primarily image schematic, not proportional. Image schemes are transformed by metaphoric or metonymic operation. And then the semantic here is primarily to syntax and partly determined. Syntax cannot be described independently of semantics. And then the last one is contrary to Aristotelian paradigm based on necessity and then special condition concept, so prototype the effect. So this is the cognitive semantics. So cognitive semantics very related. We can say that's one branch of semantic that we should to know. So the relationship between meaning and cognitive is very close relationship. It's like two coins, we cannot split each other's. One coin we cannot split will be the values of nani will be useless. So we cannot separate each other. So meaning is the representative of idea, and the cognitive will be produce the meaning, become thinking, reasoning, and remembering something. So after that, we can produce the utterance, and then we can produce the conversation with someone, or we are going to have present something to someone. And then this is the, you can say that the figure of the meaning and cognition. So this is the figure. Let me say that first, everybody here, for example, in this circle, you stay here, language. Okay, this is the language. So beside outside of the circle, we can say that words. Word here mean that the perspective, the paradigms, or we can say that the ethic perspective. Ethic perspectives mean the outsider's perspective from the produce of the language. So the language create meaning. Okay, the language will create the meaning, and then the word also here from the how to say the cycle will be you may see the arrow, The arrow is point out the language, meaning, and conceptual structure. So this the cycle is the one to produce. This is the cognitive way. Okay, and then the cognitive process. So you can processing the meaning as the, how to say that, the bigger cycle than the language cycle, the part in the bigger cycle. So after the cognitive process, we can produce the words perspective. So, but each other related each other cannot be separated. For example, you just have a word perspective. Of course, the word perspective produced by the cognitive process before you have a word perspective. So as I said before, that different cultures, different way to see the world. Okay, different cultures, we have a different way to see the world, and then different cognitive, also different intellectual properties. Also, we have a different to see the world. Of course, we have a different language. Sometimes we have a different saying something with the meaning of the word. So this is the very important for us in a language study, when to say the language and meaning us the cognitive process to see the world. Okay. This is also the same. So first of all, we produce the language. And then after we produce the language, we go through the situation how we produce the truth. Okay, this is the truth. The truth mean is the based on the language that we are speaking. Okay, and then we produce the situation, and then after the situation, we can see the words here. So every single of our perspectives derives from the word that we produce in our utterance. Okay, one more, every single of our perspective to see the words derived from the language that we produce in our utterance on in our speech. Okay, let me say here that this is the last figure that you say language, meaning, conceptual structure, truth, and the words. Okay, after we produce the words and then we have the meaning, so sometimes we have to believe to something. When we have believed to something, we believe the truth. And then after we believe the truth, of course, we are come up to the conclusion to see how we see the world. Okay, words mean here is the perspective or to something. Okay, our perspective to some object. So this is very important for us. And then, okay, this is the additional how we should be comprehend the meaning and cognition. This is from the Ferdinand de Saussure. This is the one of the philosopher in the science meaning. And then we can see here that this is the sign, okay, the object or thing, and it is signifier and signified. So the Saussure choice had the signifier and signified. What is the signifier? The signifier is this physical existence, sound, words, and image. So this is the signifiers. Okay, and then the signified is the mental concept. For example, fruits, apple, freshness, healthy, and etc. This is the signifier red, lip, runs, apples. So this is the sign object of thing. For example, the signifier of apple is red, right? Okay, apple, the colors of apple, so we can see the red. Okay, apple is red, so apple is yellow, apple is black, apple is white, for example. So this is the signifier. So we can identify the characteristic of the apple. So the Saussure said that this is the signifier. So this is the sound, word, and image. Okay, and then the signified is the red fruit. For example, the red fruit is apple. Okay, the red fruit is apple. Okay, the red fruit is the signifier. So mental concept, the mental process concept will produce the meaning. Okay, will this signified. For example, yellow. Okay, The yellow, the yellow fruit is, what is the yellow fruit, for example? Okay, banana, yes, correct. Might be banana, yes. Or mango, yes, might be mango. Yes, this is the signifier. So everybody should understand this so they can interpret the meaning. Signifier give this physical extensions like sound, word, and image, and signifier they have mental concept, sports, apple, prestige, healthy, and then etc. So this is the based on the Ferdinand Saussure, one of the philosopher in language. So one else is you should notice the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. This the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis involves around the idea that the language has power. Yes, the language has power. So to underline that the language has power here, and control how you see the world. So the language you have, they control how you see the world. What does it mean? How you see the world? This means that you speak polite or impolite based on your language production in your brain. It means that in your brain you produce the language in your cognitive process. Okay, it means the conscious of intellectual property. Okay, but if you have a good language and then you have a good background in your language, so I do believe that you will see the word properly. Okay, with the I mean that the right perspective, or if you making a conversation with someone, it means that you will have polite and then impolite. Okay, so the language is guide to your reality, structuring your thought. It provides the framework through which you make sense of the word. See the article, the Sapir analysis words by the word. You may find out this article. Okay, this might be your assessment later on that you should find out the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis in his article word shaped by the word. Okay, this word shaped by the word. It is very important for us to know the Sapir hypothesis about his relativity theory. And then this the last is how we should understand the relationship between meaning, language, meaning, and cognitive in semantics area. So first, let me see the cognition. Cognition produces the abstract ideas. Okay, cognition produces the abstract ideas, and then the abstract ideas produce the situation, and then the situation produces the object, and the object produces the sensor signal from the world. Okay, from the abstract idea, we jump to situation, object, and sensor signal from the word. Or we start from sensor signal from the words, produce the object, and then the object produce the situation, and then the situation produce the abstract idea. So you can check here from the sensor signal from the word up to object, up to situation, and then up to abstract idea. And then we see that the language, we can say from here, the language sensor motor mechanism. So the language sensor motor mechanism. So the language very sensitive, okay? Because as I said before, that language is not only saying something, but also doing something. So from the language up to the words, from the words up to phrase, from the phrase we can up to abstract word or phrases. Surround the language. Okay, we can say that surround the language sound, word for objects. Okay, there is the related to the words, and then phrase for situation related to phrases, and then the language description of abstract is related to the language. So the conclusion is the cognition, language, and meaning are very closely relationship. If one of them misleading, it means that he will making the process of the cognitive intellectual shifted the as the receiver will be we can say that it is wrong interpretation. Okay. Yeah, that's all, everybody. So our subjects.